So Andrew, why did you leave your last job? That's another great question that many people fear, and especially when you have left your previous employment on bad terms. There's a saying, never burn bridges, because you never know, one day she or he could be the one person to help you either with your reference check or future prospects. So why don't we cover and understand why the HR actually answers you this question? Think about it. Hiring someone is not that easy and can be very tedious and sometimes an infuriating job. So now guys, we all know the question is broad and it may not be applicable to you. Perhaps you didn't intentionally leave your job. Here's just some of the examples that potentially may not be you. For example, your contract has ended, or you've lost your job, maybe you're a freelancer, or been made redundant. The company or the business you're working for is soon to be in foreclosure. So you're preparing yourself for the future. Or maybe work relocation, you wanna move homes. So why don't we dive in to understand the framework and the reason why these questions are being asked. Firstly, it's all about retention. The response would typically allow the interviewer to gauge and predict the behavior of the candidate, which ultimately enables them to see and predict the likelihood future, or the action I should say, of the candidate. So for example, if you leave your job every 2 years, well, it's a bit obviously fair for them to ask you, are you going to leave your job again in another 2 years? So, that's another way of approaching it. Then, they want to see if there's any shared values in between. So it also helps the interviewer to determine your character and your response. So it would allow them to better understand what is important to you. And they want to make this, not make the same mistake that the previous company has done, because they know that that value or that thing, whichever it was, has caused you to leave in the first place. Another point is skills. Regardless if this question was either applicable to you in the first place, but also they want to determine, how you solve problems, and like if you're in a critical situation, how would you be likely to be responding to it? Doesn't that sound interesting? I'm sure there are many more reasons, but there are 3 main points that would likely to be the reason. Let me know in the comments below if you thought about these questions before going to an interview. Now, before I get into the sample response, I want you to know some of the pointers to avoid regardless. Negativity. At all costs, I want you to avoid having, anything that will create a sour experience, even if the case is true. Employees like to see the bright side, and especially they don't like hearing whining or complaining. It's just not professional. Cultural fit. Now, you didn't get along with the colleagues, supervisors, or boss, whatever the case may be. This can come across in your disfavor. So I would avoid using your response, at all costs. Because if you ever go along this line, the interviewer will, have a doubt in their mind, or they'll be channeling through thoughts of questions. So, they won't even know how you're going to fit in the team. Change of direction. Yes, I'm sure everyone's gone through this and feel it's like a great answer. But in fact, this only allows the interviewer, again, to have doubts, because they start to, even though it's like, logical or, makes sense, but they're going to start asking questions, well, what if he changes his thoughts and his minds again? Didn't feel respected or recognized. I could personally relate to that myself, but guys, you're going to be treating this like a case by case, because, if you don't research a company, you don't know if this program is in their place, like they recognize incentives or, recognition. So you don't want to say the wrong thing to the wrong company, because it's going to just quickly open the door for you to get your ass out of there. So, underpaid. Yes, that's a very typical response I hear all the time. You know what? You will never be paid enough, because your skills and knowledge would broaden, and so does your income. So why would you ever suggest to them, the obvious, that, you're attracting a negative topic? And I'd hope that your income grows every year. You're overworked. Everyone is overworked, man. Come on, man. I feel that, that we have something in common here if you say that you're overworked, because, everyone, I work so much, but I get underpaid. Guys, again, come on, it's the nature of the game. If you work for someone, just accept it, because, it's the process of having to work for someone, work for yourself, work for the government, work for the business. And in the end of it, it's just who we are. We're human beings, right? We're civilization. We just keep working. There are so many more examples I could walk you through, but I would just bore the hell out of you. And that is not the point of this video. I want for you to be confident and have a structure in your response, so that you can, not feel ashamed or embarrassed or weakened due to an event that has occurred, even if you don't have a lot of experience. So what are the pointers that you need to have in the structured response? Positivity. I get it. You know you're gonna say it. It's opposite to being negative, right? So why did I say that? Because I want you to be more bubbly and more positive and show enthusiasm and more passion to the job. Even using bright words to create a warm atmosphere in the conversation because people like it. And you also want to be compelling and have a sincere reason. Create stories, god damn it, personal stories and success because people love to hear things. Then you gotta be relevant. Come on, guys. Man, you gotta move from one place to another. Man, you gotta tell them, like some sort of direction in your pathway. I've come from this industry to another industry to another industry. Man, it'll get me confused. Not just like you probably get yourself confused. So you gotta be clear and direct as possible. Using goals and motives, until it helps them. And you gotta show value and appreciation. Guys, I say this so many times to all my clients that I meet, if you work for a company for 2 years or a year to 2 years, doesn't matter, and you can't even show sincere gratitude that the person's hired you, the company's employed you to do something. Come on, man, you work for my company, how would I know that you're gonna feel grateful for what I'm giving you as an opportunity? So you wanna talk to them about opportunities, you wanna talk to them about achievements. For example, I helped set up a system, in less than 2 months, and now it's become A grade, top 1 class example. Or you wanna talk about the culture, the team dynamics is bloody awesome, we get every week we go to a barbecue, that kind of stuff. You need to instigate the direction to be appropriate in how you want to reflect yourself, if that makes sense. So you want to be able to tell them that you are a person that is of a grateful nature and that if you hire me, there's so many things that never question. Why should you hire me is just right there. Communicate. Yes, communicate with excitement and style. Don't be all boring and just talk to them and I want to hear the ups and downs in your tone, the excitements and the enthusiasm in your voice. So when you should talk quickly and when you should talk slowly, because it helps to grab the attention of the interviewer. As you would imagine, how many people have to interview and the last thing you want to do is be like them and be boring and god damn, how are they gonna remember who you are? So, and believe it, guys, it happens all the time. Nobody believes what I'm saying, man. Now, the most crucial component is summary, because after all, we're all human beings and it's a great way to summarize everything. So we put 2 more or 3 more things back in their head and they remember who we are. So just remember, if you tell them a nice story, they'll remember you for the story. Okay, Andrew, I get it now, but what examples could I use? That's a bloody good question. It really gets down to knowing thyself and what you have to offer. Because the good news is I've created a video that can help you in doing this. Believe it or not, it's just right there. Tell me about your strengths and weakness. I'll put the video in there and the link right below. Some of the examples you can use. Perhaps you like to support a cause or charity for personal reasons. Or maybe you're just being stood down or you lost your job because of things that are, in your macro environment out of your control. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic. Or perhaps it's a work relocation kind of thing. You want to move your principal home to another place for better lifestyle and you have to get a job, goddammit. Of course, we all know that. Maybe, just maybe, you have become aware of an amazing project and you want to be part of it. Did you injure yourself or maybe had a limitation stop you from doing work? Sad, but sometimes can be a true case to some people as well. And that also relates back to family situation, something's happened. I don't want to get deeply into it, but these are some of the reasons anyways. Finally we made it to the end, and for those who have watched it all the way through, I commend you and I deploy anyone I work with, my clients or associates, to always apply critical thinking and actually ask more questions. Hey, why is he saying this? Why is he asking this? You're only good as what you know. And if you don't want to grow, you need to accept that there's still room for improvement in all aspects of your life. So let's get to the exciting parts that you've been waiting for. The example. So Andrew, why did you leave your last job? James, I actually haven't had this question come up that often, and I'm kind of glad that you did, because I've kind of figured out my life, in my career pathway very early on. Because, as we discussed on the phone earlier, I work for a project manager for a very busy family local construction firm. And I must admit, the team dynamic there is bloody awesome. And the thing about working for a smaller local construction company is that you become the whole, not just a part of. Being the best part of it is that I'm being able to deliver quality projects before the deadline, and seeing the smile on the client's face, the satisfaction, the excitement, especially when they touch, and feel the details that are put in. Though what has been more evolving in my life is now I have a family and I've got multiple mortgages and I've got an expensive lifestyle that I want to maintain. I hope you have the same too. And that means I have to increase my knowledge and my sophisticated skills, I was trying to say, to help companies increase their bottom line. Because I do know it's a two-way street here, which also has led me to complete my Masters of Construction course, and I've also been volunteer at some of the committees for non-profit organizations. And I also feel it's no coincidence that has brought us together here, because I'm wanting to talk to you about an amazing project that you represent, which is an amazing lifestyle accommodation change for those that have highly skilled type nature job where they move from place to place, and I can personally relate to it, and they just want to relax, they want the best lifestyle, they just want to go from here to here, and that's why I want to be part of it. Because it's not about my decade of experience of being a project manager and and who I know and my networks and what I know. We all know that, and everyone from time to time will have that. But what's more important to me, and I'm sure you can agree with this, is that can't I do something meaningful for myself now? Can't I just do something that I feel that I'm actually doing something for myself as well as the company? Man, this is a 9-to-5 job, man. I don't want just a job, I want a career. So this is the reason why, it's kind of triggered me to rethink about my situation and go, hey, what if I could do something I love? So there you have it, guys. The tip is to be very conversational. Let me know in the comments below if this technique has helped you. And don't also forget to like, subscribe, and share to our content, because this will help us to create more videos and to expand to broader community. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.